Sheila Lirio Marcelo's quote, "I think in terms of evolutions, not revolutions. Failure isn't part of my vocabulary," is more than just an empowering soundbite, it's a radical reorientation of how we approach growth, transformation, and ambition. In a world that glorifies sudden upheavals, overnight success, and breakthrough moments, her perspective offers a grounded, enduring wisdom that success is not usually found in chaotic bursts of revolution, but in the patient, compounding strength of evolution. Her words challenge us to rethink failure itself, not as a dead end or a label, but as something so fluid and integrated into progress that it ceases to be recognized as failure at all. At its core, thinking in terms of evolutions instead of revolutions is about valuing steady, thoughtful progress over dramatic change. It's about building something with intention, resilience, and patience rather than tearing down and starting anew every time something doesn't go as planned. This isn't just a professional strategy, it's a philosophy that can be applied to every facet of life, personal relationships, career development, learning, innovation, and self-growth. Marcelo, the founder of Care.com and a globally respected entrepreneur, embodies this mindset through her journey. As a female, immigrant founder in a male-dominated tech space, she didn't explode onto the scene with flashy announcements or aggressive tactics. She built, iterated, listened, and adjusted, evolving her vision brick by brick until it could no longer be ignored. The phrase "failure isn't part of my vocabulary" doesn't imply arrogance or delusion. Rather, it reflects a profound shift in how we define failure in the first place. For Marcelo, and for others who share this mindset, so-called failures are simply parts of the evolutionary process, data points, lessons, redirections. By removing the label of failure, we also remove the emotional burden that often accompanies setbacks, the shame, the self-doubt, the paralysis. What we're left with is movement, forward, backward, sideways, but always moving. In this light, nothing is static or final, every mistake is a mutation that may eventually result in a stronger, more refined version of our efforts. This mindset is especially potent in the age of social media and the startup boom, where we are constantly bombarded with stories of hypergrowth, sudden success, and disruption. It's tempting to believe that greatness happens in a single stroke of genius or a lucky break. But behind most of these stories lies a less glamorous reality of countless iterations, sleepless nights, and quiet resilience. Marcelo's perspective invites us to step back from the glamour of revolution and honor the grit of evolution. It reminds us that the most sustainable changes, both personally and societally, often occur in quiet persistence, through adapting, refining, and staying in the game long after others have burned out. Her words also resonate deeply with the philosophy of growth mindset, a term popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck. People with a growth mindset believe their abilities and intelligence can be developed with time and effort. They see challenges as opportunities and setbacks as part of learning. Marcelo's quote captures this spirit perfectly. To her, failure doesn't exist because everything is part of a continuous unfolding, a story not of sudden leaps, but of endless layers being added, reshaped, and enhanced. In practical terms, this philosophy has powerful implications. For students, it encourages persistence through tough subjects rather than giving up. For creators, it means embracing drafts, experiments, and versions that never see the light of day. For entrepreneurs, it emphasizes that the first idea rarely works, but the 10th version might. For anyone facing adversity, it's a reminder that today's difficulty is part of tomorrow's progress. The evolutionary mindset doesn't dismiss pain or difficulty, it simply refuses to allow them to define the journey. Marcelo's refusal to use the word failure is also a subtle act of empowerment, particularly for women and minorities navigating industries that have traditionally excluded them. In these spaces, the stakes of failure are often higher, the tolerance for mistakes lower, and the scrutiny more intense. By refusing to internalize the concept of failure, she resists a system that too often weaponizes setbacks to limit others. It's a form of narrative control, choosing how her story is told, what language shapes her path, and how she defines success. This isn't delusion. It's strategic, intentional optimism, a refusal to let fear dictate direction. On a deeper psychological level, Marcelo's quote echoes a truth about resilience. Human beings are not wired to withstand constant revolution. Too much upheaval, too fast, destabilizes systems, both biological and social. But evolution. We are built for it. We adapt to environments, we learn from mistakes, we grow through repeated effort. By aligning with the natural rhythm of evolution rather than the drama of revolution, Marcelo's approach taps into the deep currents of how lasting change really works. The world itself has evolved over billions of years, not through constant disruption, but through gradual, persistent transformation. If it's good enough for the planet, it's good enough for us. In conclusion, Sheila Lirio Marcelo's quote is more than motivational, it's transformational. It asks us to see progress as a steady, iterative journey. It invites us to remove the weighty concept of failure from our vocabulary and replace it with curiosity, adjustment, and resolve. It challenges the myth of sudden success and instead celebrates the slow, often invisible work of true change. Whether you're building a company, rebuilding your life, or simply trying to improve one small part of your day, this mindset is not only liberating, it's unstoppable. Because when failure doesn't exist and evolution is the path, there's nowhere to go but forward.